Hello there, and welcome to Introduction to Linguistics Syntax second lecture. Now we will discuss word classes and constituency. Word classes and constituency. Words can be part of a word class, part of speech. Words can also join others to form groups, often called phrases. For example, noun phrase, the big blue ball. It is a noun phrase. They constitute a unit. This is called constituent. Transitivity. One traditional way to subcategorize verbs is to make reference to the number of arguments that they take. It is called valency. A verb that takes one argument is said to be intransitive. Those that take two are transitive, and those that take three are ditransitive. Look at this table. So intransitive verbs, we have one argument. You know, this is the noun phrase which comes before the verb. It is the subject. It is one argument. If it is transitive, we have two arguments. The one before the verb and the other after the verb. Subject and object. Ditransitive, we have three arguments. One before the verb and the two after the verb. Let's see one by one. Intransitive, I arrived, I slept. Here we have, or the man slept. Here we have one argument, which is the subject. Second, the man loves the girl, or the man wants the cake. Here we have two arguments, the man and the cake. We have two arguments, the subject and the object. In ditransitive verbs, we have three arguments. The man give the student a book. Here we have three arguments, three noun phrases. The man, the book, the student, the book. The man give the student a book. So the man and the student and a book. These are three noun phrases or three arguments. A predicate, which is the verb and what comes after the verb phrase. A predicate expresses the relation between individuals in the world, which can be abstract. The entities involved in the predicate are known as arguments. So, predicate, the entities involved in the predicates are known as arguments. For example, Calvin ate the stinky tuna. The predicate, ate. The arguments, Calvin and the stinky tuna. So, all entities involved in the predicate are known as arguments. Predicates are typically verbs, verbal predicates, but they can also involve other parts of speech. Arguments can be nouns or determiners with nouns. Calvin, for example, ate the stinky tuna. The predicate ate and arguments Calvin and the stinky tuna, two arguments. One traditional way to subcategorize verbs means to categorize the verb into transitive, intransitive, ditransitive, and so on. To make reference to the number of arguments, how many arguments does it have? That they take, verbs valency is called valency. A verb that takes one argument is said to be intransitive. Those that take two are transitive, and those that take three are ditransitive, as we discussed. Example: valency, transitivity, arrive, sleep, one argument. So in verbs such as arrive, sleep, we have one argument. Verbs such as love or want, we have two arguments. Transitive, ditransitive verbs, I give or the man give the student a book. Here we have three arguments, such as give or put or any other ditransitive verb. Exercise. Go back to exercise 1 and identify if the following verbs are intransitive, transitive, or ditransitive based on the sentence given. Note that adjuncts do not count in determining transitive. Smile, kiss, hit, pass. Think and try to know the number of arguments involved with these verbs. Then you decide or you identify if the verb is intransitive, transitive, or ditransitive. Constituency test. How to prove that these words constitute a unit? They form a unit. How do we know that or when parts should stay together? Here we have some tests. Number 1, substitution test. Number 2, movement test and question test. First, in substitution test, we substitute the unit with one word. I do not, for example, look at the first sentence. I do not know the man who is sleeping in the car. I do not know him. The man here substituted with the word him. The result is ungrammatical sentence. I do not know him who is sleeping in the car. This sentence is ungrammatical. Why? Because the man is not a noun phrase alone. Here, the noun phrase, the man who is sleeping in the car. This is a complete or a whole unit. So when we substitute this noun phrase, we substitute the whole unit with him. I do not know him, not the man only. We can't substitute part of the unit. We have to substitute the whole unit. This is an evidence that it is called the substitution test. This is an evidence that the man who is sleeping in the car is a unit or a constituent. The second test is called the movement. We can move the constituent, but we cannot move part of it. Look at this example. He is going to attend another language course to improve his English. To improve his English is a unit. It can be moved to the front of the sentence. To improve his English, he is going to attend another course. This is grammatical. But if we take part of this unit to improve part of it, the result is ungrammatical sentence. Question test, the third test. What did you do yesterday? Worked on my new project. Look at the second sentence. What did you do yesterday? Work it on. Because this is not a constituent. Here, the constituent we can form by the or through the constituent we can form a question. Work it on. What did you do yesterday? I'm asking about the action here. I worked on my new project. It is a verb phrase. Worked on my new project. A predicate. We cannot take part of it. The answer cannot be part of the constituent. Work it on. This is not an answer. Let's move on. Substitution movement questions. So we have three tests: substitution, movement, and questions. The boys play at the school. Here we can substitute the boys with they. One word. Play at the school. This is a unit. Play at the school. How do we know? We can substitute it with the boys do so. And at school, can be substituted with so. So we can move, or we can say At school, the boys play. This is a unit. Or we can ask a question about this unit, for example, at school. Where do the boys play? So we have substitution test, movement test, and question test. We have a fourth test, which is coordination. The boys, look at this example. The boys play at school and at college. Here, the same sentence. At school is a unit, a constituent. And we can coordinate it with another constituent of the same category, another phrase. This is now a prepositional phrase, and this is another prepositional phrase. At school and at college. This means that they constitute, at school is a unit constituent, and at college is another unit or constituent, and they are coordinated. So here we have these tests to prove or to give evidence that these words constitute a unit or they are constituency. Thank you for listening.